So what is a parliamentary inquiry? It was, I think, pretty well put by the chairman, so I will just kind of summarize as it is done within the explanatory memorandum of the law. According to Article 64 of the draft Constitution, of the Constitution, Parliament has a right to conduct inquiries to be regulated by national ordinance. The parliamentary inquiry the parliamentary inquiry is a parliamentary instrument of control and an instrument for determining the truth. The parliamentary inquiry can also serve to prepare the way for legislation and to investigate abuses. This is also an essential and important part of why I believe an inquiry is important, not just to ask the questions, but to fix legislation and come with real solutions. The main objectives are to determine the truth and to learn lessons for the future. What distinguishes a parliamentary inquiry in principle from other parliamentary investigations, such as working in groups or temporary committees, is the fact that an inquiry, a commission of inquiry, has the powers to extend not only to the government, but also to the public, such as subpoena powers and gathering of information. This, of course, calls for the deployment of this instrument with due care. So, as we see, basically, the point is to uncover the truth and to bring about solutions. Solutions can include legislative changes, so this can produce legislation that can then come to the floor of Parliament to improve and prevent bad situations that have been uncovered by the inquiry from happening again. But there are three main requirements for a parliamentary inquiry. Of course, it requires a decision of Parliament. So Parliament needs to vote on it. We are now in the Central Committee, but it would need a public meeting of which the members of Parliament can eventually vote on the proposal or not. A parliamentary commission is appointed after the decision is made, which will be comprised of members of Parliament, which I'll get into as well as proposed in the document, and a detailed description, which is the proposal document that has been given to members of Parliament. So what is the Mullet Bay inquiry? Well, as per the law, it's really just to uncover the truth and prevent solutions. And the best way I was able to summarize this is in the form of the problem definition. And I will read that. What can the government of St. Martin do to ensure that the economically dormant and heavily disputed property of Mullet Bay is being best used in the interest of the people of St. Martin from an economic, environmental, heritage, and legal perspective? And given that the ownership of the property maintains that they own the coast, so the beach, the coast, and so on, as well as the inland waterways, so the pond itself, which is in conflict with the Civil Code, what measures exist and should be taken by Country St. Martin? So, Mr. Chairman, to understand how we've actually led to this, and one thing that I'm sensitive of, a lot of what has happened with regards to Mullet Bay historically, of course, has started well before I was even born. And I relied a lot on information from the cadastre, but from people. But even that in itself, in the process of trying to get historical information about Mullet Bay, lends credence to the need to inquire more details and subpoena information. Because a lot of the information, as a member of Parliament, it's simply not accessible to me. And there's still a lot of holes in certain decisions that were made from since as far back as I was able to go. Now, first of all, I would like to say a special thanks to the Facebook group, We Are St. Martin. They have a treasure trove of historical information and pictures there, so some of the information was there. So being that I'm using some of those pictures, I would like to mention them as a credit. Now, basically, Mullet Bay, the first notarial or made brief that I was able to uncover so far was from 1957, though other documents, which you can see here, well, not that clearly, this is a deed that mentions from 1929, a certain transfer, etc. But from 1957, we actually saw the first significant recorded transfer of this property. Now, since then, development didn't really begin until 1969 on the property. And this is when plans for a 600-room resort were revealed and construction had started. On July 1st, 1971, upon completion of the construction of the resort, cadastre extracts show that the property was transferred to Sun Resorts Limited, who has since retained ownership of the property. 8 years later, the property grew almost 50% in size when plans were revealed to expand the property to up to 1,400 rooms. However, I'll get to that in just a moment because those plans 1,200 rooms in 1985, but those plans didn't quite pan out. What apparently happened, this here you see a picture of Mullet Bay in 1978, where there's a circular, so this is the beach here, this is of course the rest of the property. Here you can see some mountains of sand where filling in was taking place to reclaim some land to build 3 towers. What we have as the current one building that's known as the towers, there were plans, actually you can see here in the prospectus, investment prospectus, there's one tower that looks very familiar, but the plan was actually to build 3 of them along the lagoon, between the lagoon and the sea, but that didn't actually materialize, which confused me in the beginning because when you take the cadastre extracts, it said that Mullet Bay had 1,200 rooms. Back in 1978, that didn't actually materialize, but no change was done on the cadastre extracts apparently. Of course, we know right after that, unfortunately, well, not right after that, by 1995, the hotel had become the prominent flagship resort of the country, but unfortunately, disaster had struck. This was, of course, everyone remembers Hurricane Lewis and the devastation that it caused. But in particular, Mullet Bay and over 1,800 employees to businesses of the resort and in the area, in the related area, ultimately lost their jobs in a phased layoff process. Huge legal battles ensued between the timeshare owners and Sun Resorts. And also, legal disputes began between permit holders, so there were people that were given permits to operate different businesses on the beach, and Sun Resorts. The contention of Sun Resorts being that they should have been the one to approve whether people should do business on what they consider their beach. Access issues also ensued. Over the years, we know that boulders were placed alongside the road. Also, parking areas that were traditionally allowed eventually grew smaller and smaller and were blocked off. And to this day, access to the beach is still kind of unofficially policed by the security guards of Sun Resorts.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEBE.
You deserve it, my hallelujah. My hallelujah belongs to you. Sing it, everyone. Sing it. Let me hear you from the bottom of our hearts. My hallelujah belongs to you. Oh, my hallelujah. My hallelujah belongs to you. Belongs to you. You deserve it. You deserve it. You deserve it. You deserve
The iStep Conference. Last week, the Division of Educational Innovation successfully hosted the iStep Conference 2019 Techsperience. The iStep app was launched with a demo at the Emilio Wilson Museum. This app gives the visitor an interactive experience when they visit the museum. The app works as follows. If you have the app and you point your phone or your iPad to a particular sign or illustration in the museum, you will be able to watch a video or an interview about a particular object or sign. For example, at the entrance of the museum, there was a welcome sign on the floor. Pointing my phone at the sign, I got to see a video of Emilio Wilson waving and welcoming me to come in. This app was developed in collaboration with the Rainforest and the Division of Educational Innovation with the purpose to encourage students and our youth in general to visit the museum. The Techsperience Conference was well attended by our public education teachers and also by teachers of the subsidized schools. And I know that our students will benefit from their teachers' development. Thank you to the organizing committee for your hard work. The Constitution Day observance, which will take place on Monday, October 14th. Each year, on the second Monday of October, we observe and celebrate the establishment of our Constitution and the recognition of country status. On October 10, 2010, St. Martin moved from an island territory to an autonomous country within the Kingdom of the Netherlands. This step of self-governance has taken us through the last 9 years. This year, on Monday, October 14th, the government of St. Martin, in collaboration with the St. Martin National Commission for UNESCO, will present a Constitution Day service and Intangible Cultural Heritage Inventory launch. The service will be held at the Saints Simon and Jude Anglican Church on Back Street, starting at 9 a.m. A feature for the service will be some cultural presentations. Immediately following that service, there will be the Intangible Cultural Heritage Inventory launch, which will take place right next to the Saints Simon and Jude Anglican Church on the back street. And there will also be an Intangible Cultural Heritage vendors market and public display. Food and other items will be available for purchase. The Department of Culture has worked along with the UNESCO office to present the inventory of intangible cultural heritage for St. Martin. This list represents 4 years of work with other stakeholders, practitioners, and knowledge bearers of St. Martin's cultural heritage. The Department of Culture will launch the promotion of this list under the theme I-Rich, I-R-I-C-H. And I-Rich stands for I Remember Intangible Cultural Heritage, signifying the value we place on St. Martin's rich culture and the importance on passing the various elements and activities on to the next generation. We have several young people who exemplify our cultural heritage, which bears significant value to our economy. Charity and Ralph Contav have made their family Johnny Cake recipes into the Johnny Caker, while Dr. Tashina McCoo Thomas has taken her grandmother's lessons in bush remedies and made treatments for the ailments of her clients. Of course, there are many more. So come out and share in Country St. Martin's intangible cultural heritage on Monday, October 14th. It is a national public holiday, so you have no excuse to come out to the Constitution Day service and ask God to bless our country and to give us, her leaders, wisdom and direction, especially at this time when we're facing another election. And after the service, remain and participate in the Intangible Cultural Heritage Inventory launch and the Intangible Cultural Heritage Vendors Market and Public Display. All happening on Monday, October 14th in the Anglican Church and adjacent the church on the back street starting at 9 a.m.
Make use of WIB mobile banking with easy access and direct usage of face recognition, PIN code, or fingerprint. Download WIB mobile banking app and make your transaction from anywhere at any time. For more information, visit wib-bank.net/quick-login.
Information on the fruit and vegetable food fair for this upcoming Saturday. Additionally, also we'd like to thank our volunteers that so far has done a great job and assisting us with the program. Without them, we don't think it would have been possible providing such service at that level to the general public. We also like to continue making this announcement to the general public or to the affiliate members of the Consumers Coalition and the Anti-Poverty Platform for continue encouraging one and all, which is family members and also other registered members of the Anti-Poverty Platform to register, stay updated, and continue supporting your program. The objective, we have to remember that the Anti-Poverty Platform, the reason for such program is because we are a part of eradicating poverty where that's concerned on St. Martin. Don't ever forget that. We will stay put to that, which is eradication of poverty. And this is one of the ways we have been proven that cost of living in St. Martin has been, in a spiral ever all through the history of St. Martin, but ever since Irma, it has taken a different direction whereby there was absolutely no control where that is concerned. So it is proven that by the introduction of the Affordable Health and Fruit and Provision Program, we're able to not also bring a lot of alleviation to families through this program, but also have an impact in general on the market with the affordable prices. Two, we have proven to the general public and to other stakeholders and entities, which is government and so, that quality products can reach us, and that businesses also need to emphasize, put more emphasis on quality. if you want the money from the general public, from the consumers, at least have the decency and respect to give them quality in exchange for their money.
Durability.
And also durable products, which comes in quality products. We also like to, we look at it that once the people of the island or the workers and their family are happy and we are bringing empowerment to the families, we are achieving our objective, which is to eradicate poverty and also the well-being of families, the workers on this island here. So we believe that once we continue on this path, that we are doing what is correct. We would like also to inform the general public to walk with your shopping bag or grocery bags, because also the environment is important to us. So make sure bring along your shopping bags, etc. This time in this program, we will open a sector to facilitate those there, which are the seniors and others also with disability. So we will have a line dedicated to the seniors and people who are having some sort of disability. Don't forget, contact the Consumers Coalition or the United Consumers Association via the WhatsApp number, which is 554-7031. This is this Saturday, October 12th, and the following days. And make sure be there early enough, because the way products are moving, they're moving fast. So no wait late down into the program when most products are no longer there. But we hope to see you there on Saturday and the following days.
Ma'am, you said that the private sector has to step up to organize experiences for the cruise tourists. 57% of all the excursions is sold through the cruise lines. So it's actually the cruise ships that make money off of excursions. How is that going to benefit the tour operators on the island?
Okay, you're talking about two different things. One is concerning the variety and the amount of shore excursions that are provided, and the other is the difference between one is sold on board and one is sold by independents. So let's separate it. The first is about the variety, the quality of the tours. There has to be tours that are very exclusive for just a few people, and there has to be, of course, the tours that are for many that are quality, but also a price point that's affordable. So that's what I was talking about. There is a need to be able to look at a multitude of different private sector that's going to step up to the plate to offer different things, innovative things, not copycat because somebody else has a catamaran that's successful, we're just going to do a catamaran. Doing something that is going to be innovative, that represents St. Martin in a different way, so it's memorable. The other is about the shore excursions. The cruise lines spend a lot of money to work with the providers to make sure, number one, that those are vetted, that they have training, that they have insurance. So the price point is going to be different. When you go on a shore excursion, if something happens, the cruise line, even if it's not sold by the cruise line, is going to be at fault. So is the destination. I always say that you are one incident away from being a ghost town. If something very bad happens and it is not something that it's something that's preventable and it happens, it's a black eye for the cruise industry and it's a black eye for the destination. Shore excursions are the experience to the destination. That's why it's very important for the cruise lines to have the handle in being able to sell them on board.
Can I ask another question?
If I may just dovetail on that, as government, we saw the commitment necessary from all sectors within our community. It's reason why during the Parmac Platinum event that we hosted here on St. Martin, that we allowed, for instance, the merchants to go around the table with the FCCA and the cruise line partners to hear firsthand what is some of the trends that they need to be aware about, how they can enhance the experience even in town. As we look at different reports like the BRIA report and indications throughout the destination experience, government has been able to put those persons side by side and in front of decision makers within the FCCA and within the lines themselves, the top cruise executives, to start to understand and sensitize the public. Also, the reason why the ministry has adopted several initiatives through the tourist office as well as through the ministry in itself. They have a program launched called TIAT at Work. It's again to make sure that our people continue to know first-hand information of how every sector, every facet of this country is important and how it spawns off into becoming opportunities for investment, opportunities for small and medium-sized entrepreneurship. So we support our tourists while they come here by having those trainings. So indeed, that is very important for us and to continue to inform the public of those initiatives and also to sensitize the public in general in knowing that indeed the cruise industry is very important for us. Government is keeping a very keen eye on our competitors regionally as well, and that is why, again, to reiterate the need for us to be ahead and to evolve now more than ever, not only in tour experiences, which we've had several discussions as well through the tourist office, in enhancing what we offer, focusing on the different markets, the VIP opportunities where specific guests coming off of the cruise lines